My name is Erica Lorraine Spencer, and I remain subject to state surveillance and terrorism by the state of California that is operating a malicious targeting system which is referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices. And it is in violation of federal stalking statute 18 U.S.C. sections 2261A subsections 1 and 2. My website and podcast serve the public good by publishing evidence of the public entity's ceaseless engagement in a pattern of conduct intended to stalk and monitor via communication devices, surveil, harass, and terrorize an American citizen in concert with the people of the state of California. Documentation serves the lawful purposes of wide exposure, federal prosecution, and influencing federal legislation with policies specifically designed to punish, dismantle, and disincentivize an unprecedented targeting system by a public entity that acts in concert with the people of the state in order to criminally place under surveillance and terrorize an American citizen, which is a matter of public corruption in the state of California. It is Wednesday, July 31st, 2024. It's currently 5:42 a.m. This is documentation of criminal surveillance in Orange County, where I remain subject to the pattern of conduct that is underway by the state of California, documenting the people of the state at third-party facilitating venue, the Best Western Plus, the Newport MESA Inn, located at 2642 Newport Boulevard in Costa Mesa, California, 92627. License Nevada, Robert Charlie, 6 Apple 2 David, 855 Mary Wendy. That's a handicap license plate on a PT Cruiser. This is a paper plate with Washington, Apple 7424160, the temporary paper plate. License 8CNY188, license 6WSX555. License MZY2080, that's a Texas plate. A as in Apple, Tom, Sam 105, Apple. And that is, I surmise, Tijuana. It's a white license plate. It's not a California plate. License 68147, Apple 3. 8L, Sam, Bob 821. 8 Larry, David, Sam 837. 9 Mary, Nancy, Nancy 692. This is a paper plate. David, Jack 15, Boy 53. Charlie, Wendy, Mary 5262, Arizona. 798 Paul, Sam, Jack, that's an Oregon plate. 8 Charlie, Apple, David 676. 7Y Charlie, Charlie 956. This is a Texas plate. Sam, Zebra, Henry 4035. License 9 Mary Wendy Tom 753. 9 Frank Igloo Xavier 058. David Frank Robert 814, that's a Colorado plate. Frank Larry 06127, Idaho. 97349 Sam 3. 9 David Thomas Bob 461. I have a commercial vehicle. The front plate is not visible. I will get a capture. I'll capture the logo, but it's Geostabilization International, US.1571280. The number on the side of the vehicle is MT-214. That is Mary Tom-214. Again, GSI, Geostabilization International. Now, right now, they are not on the job per se while utilizing this commercial vehicle, so you're not going to necessarily prosecute while they're not functioning in an official operation on behalf of the commercial actor, where an employee, for example, is group stalking. That is where that commercial actor will be prosecuted, and that employee will be prosecuted. Those are two third parties as you document that. But this is a means of identification. It's parked at the third party facilitating venue, Best Western in Newport Beach. It's 5:47 a.m. Just want to document that. License plate 8 Jack Thomas George 862. License 9 Mary Open Edward 137. License 9 LTW 438. License AI Larry 63. That's a Colorado plate. All right. license plate, again in room 202. The entity pacing 7 Mary 02004 is another license plate. The entity right above, they placed me on the first floor in order that the people of the state can pace all around above. Everywhere that you're located, from a parking place to when you go to a restaurant and wherever you sit inside of that venue, even when you are pulling up to a traffic light, where it is you are in the lane, the moment that the light turns green or red, whatever color, for purposes of movement or stationary placement, everything, the demons are, you are always strategically placed where the demons are surrounding you. It is never just you're randomly, nothing is random. And that's also the reality. It is all deliberate with regard to what demons are systematically engaging in all around you when you are targeted. So it's a matter of them making it available for you, them making everything unavailable where they don't want you to be at, and that's in order to maintain elements, to maintain presence. And so that's also applies with regard to any facilitating venue, including if, for example, you go into a movie theater, every location where they want to make sure that they can surround you. And if it's something that would impede it, it won't be available to the target individual. This is deliberate placement for purposes of group stalking and activity creation. So I'm on the first floor. The entity is engaging in ongoing incessant pacing, and that activity creation, that's exactly what I'm talking about. And they know that their license plate, this is a demon that's at the corner using the ice maker. Using the ice maker in order to follow with audible activity. And they know that their license plates were documented. This is group stalking at Best Western. That's a quintessential example. That is textbook P.O.C, maintaining audible activity creation while movement around in the venue. So the entity engages in that sort of conduct, making it unavailable for you to sit, or if you do go somewhere, someone will maintain that promise, come sit by you, around you somewhere, or whatever the situation might be. Just speaking to the deliberation with regard to the entity regarding all places at all times. And that third party that is group stalking goes into room 101. Okay, and is group stalking with regard to placement inside of the hotel room. So that's a method of very hovering stalking as well, knowing that I'm walking into the building, knowing that I just documented license plates as well, walks outside in order to get ice for purposes of crossing path, maintaining the elements of monitoring are how also minions communicate hostility, like a dog barks. All right, when it's hostile, when it's stressed. All right, it's analogous to demons as they engage in demonic activity. The demons will create light activity, as you've seen the flashing light on my bedroom walls, for example, in the staircase, as you hear the amplified helicopter activity. This is a show of hostility. So this demon walks out of the room to monitor. They're already monitoring as I walk through the hallways. I just went out and got everybody's license plate. Okay, so and remember, you're dealing with one demon, you're dealing with the whole entity. You're dealing with Satan, who uses multiple bodies. So this is a show of hostility. It's group stalking, just giving a translation, if you will. And I'm also going through the translation because it's relevant for prosecution. It's an ongoing threat that you're faced with, where the entity is incessantly monitoring you, group stalking you, everything about everywhere that you're going. It's always deliberate with regard to what's available or what's not available to you as an option, so that they can incessantly stalk you. There is no randomness. There is no coincidences with regard to any and everything. Okay, I mean, the place that you are in line at any location, it's all a matter of relevant positioning, and the entity is remaining ahead of you at all times, and that includes, again, as I documented, coming downstairs to leave third-party facilitating venue, Town Place Suites by Marriott. The demons are aware of it. Oh, she's coming downstairs, and I'm just giving you, you don't even have to necessarily say that. You're dealing with spirits. They don't have to say anything. The demons are in a court, okay? And they have a very serious hovering, literally a very heavily synchronized, okay? They are in sync with regard to the demons who act together. And these are physically, in the natural, strangers. In the spirit, they're all familiar. They act as one. And they also are familiar with who I am. Nobody has to know anyone in the natural. And that's actually what's going on with regard to group stalking. They may or may not actually know, but you're dealing with the public. You're talking about everybody on the 10 freeway, for example. Those demons don't know each other. They're just driving, and they're all in sync. They're group stalking together. there is a synchronicity with regard to the operation of the demonic activity, and it's all centered on what the target individual does, where they go. Okay, now that is a phenomenon. And that's what's actually happening with group stalking. So you're going to prosecute for that level of terrorism. Nonetheless, this is documentation of what is third-party facilitating venue Best Western and Newport Beach. This is Newport Mesa. And again, the location is 2642 Newport Boulevard, in Costa Mesa, California. Costa Mesa, California, the Costa Mesa Police Department, Newport Beach. I am familiar with this location, I'll say, Orange County. It's the state of California. They are group stalkers. So if you don't know what you're looking at when you're looking at Orange County housewives, you have affluent demons, if you were not aware of that. The specific environment follows in Orange County, the group stalking, the terrorism, including in helicopters. I've already documented, I've already been subject to it. And this was before I started capturing this profound experience on video for the world to witness, because I determined that it was not enough for me to write out the experience everywhere that I was going. It was too much. It had to be captured for people to see it. Much of my written documentation was stolen by the entity that includes the Ontario Police Department, who stole evidence. And again, they'll be going to federal prison for that. It was pursuant to kidnappings that they were engaged in, and they also destroyed evidence, which is criminal conduct committed by the whole entity. But that specific aspect of the entity, the Ontario Police Department, those demons of the Ontario Police Department that engage in kidnapping, they will be serving time in federal prison for that. That's an unlawful threat to the life of an American citizen seeking to obstruct justice. And every form of obstruction of justice is very severely punished. And that threat is appreciated by the federal government because you're talking about people's lives that are at stake. So it's 5:55 a.m. That's an excellent time. This is documentation of criminal presence at a facilitating venue in Orange County, where the specific environment is, and I have documented it before in Tustin, California. Again, this is documentation that was stolen, but I have documented the pattern of conduct amongst the demon-possessed going to a park in Tustin. This is Orange County, and the fake sun was over me at this park in Tustin, directly over me. The people of the state exhibiting consciousness of guilt. And as I'm in my car, I'm not holding up my phone and I'm not saying, hey, cheese, I'm going to take a picture of you. I'm not even doing anything that would, to someone that's not focused on you, that they would not notice, especially when you're in vehicles, you know. But the entity, even as I'm behind them capturing a picture of their license plate, they would demonstrate consciousness that they've been documented. The demons exhibited consciousness of guilt. And as I became aware of the pattern of conduct that I was subject to, the demons became very, very frazzled. They were fearful. They became, and that's speaking to, again, that this is a spiritually significant criminal conduct. It is demonic activity, and the demons are aware of what you become aware of. All right. And with that is the level of threat that is present, the fact that you're subject to it, and then the demons continue as they know that you are aware of it. So that's a whole other criminal purpose when you continue with the target individual's knowledge. Okay, and so you're communicating something, an unlawful communication, an unlawful threat, when you are then keeping one under surveillance who is aware that they're under surveillance, and they clearly don't want that, don't like it, don't welcome it, and you continue to do so. The demon possessed, and this is at the beginning of my documentation in Orange County, where I'm at a park in Tustin, California, and that's just one example, by the way, just speaking to in Tustin, California, and I'm capturing images in this before I'm mindful of the specific environment as I've termed it. But in my old documentation, my documentation rather, that was captured in Orange County at the beginning of my documentation efforts, where I'm just capturing my environment. I'm capturing the people of the state. And in my images, you can see the fake sun directly over me. And this is the pattern as I began to recognize it. And I'm in Orange County. I'm in Tustin, California. I'm at a park, and I'm recognizing the behaviors of the demons around me. And then I become more and more aware of the environment that follows. It's unnatural as you become aware of this. And this is the significance of documentation. And so I just want to be clear. Orange County is very much a specific environment. Orange County is, the pattern of conduct is underway in Orange County. The affluent and those of, if you have in your mind the primary race, the primary social status, the primary level of affluence or influence of those who are in Orange County or associated with Orange County, let me be clear, there's nothing impressive about the demon possessed. I don't care what your zip code is. They are demon possessed out here and they're group stalking. So you have the affluent who are group stalking. Okay. And so I've been a homeless person being group stalked by the affluent who are demon possessed. This is the reality. And this is speaking to all of the things. And this is the last thing, but this is another lesson. While you are so focused on the physical, on the carnal, that's exactly where Satan wants your attention to be. Because Satan, who has a lot of money, Satan, who has perhaps many properties, Satan, who has excellent career opportunities, perhaps even multiple business owners, has boats, okay, lives on the water, and is group stalking me, one who is sleeping in their car. Okay, but guess what? While they're in their Maserati, while they're in their Porsche, they're group stalking me, a homeless person. And with regard to those that focus on the physical, I'm a black woman, supposedly of lesser value than my white counterpart, if you will. And they're group stalking me. These are all distractions. These are lies from the enemy that are designed to separate us, to distract us, to confuse you. And it has nothing to do, your value has nothing to do with your race, with your economic status. These are the things, especially as I'm showing you the P.O.C. and the malicious design of the P.O.C. in the so-called free world as we are known. You know, we are the place where the so-called American dream. The American dream is literally a dream. It's an illusion. And you are not free, and you are actually conditioned to maintain a state of unconsciousness because Satan does not want you to know the truth, and everything about the messages that are sent out about your identity, about who you are, about how you measure yourself. If you give into that, if you place yourself in some sort of social hierarchy, which you should not, but if you do, if you fall for these things, the P.O.C. directly defies it. Okay, so in every way, I'm not, and not that I have in any way conformed it. Based on my circumstances, I have completely defied what I was supposed to do, what I was supposed to accomplish as a black woman, not coming from a family with a rich background or from a high education. Okay, but that's also not something that you base your value on. It's not in my education or what I've accomplished. It's not. It's who you are in Christ. Do you even know your maker? Okay, so there's a fundamental issue there if you don't even know your creator. But what the issue is I am subject to the pattern of conduct by those who make a lot of money, those who own businesses, those who have houses along the beach side, and they live in mansions, and they've got all sorts of, and guess what? They're demon possessed and they're group stalking. And these are shameful secrets. And there is no distinction from the one collecting welfare at Alvarado Gardens and they that are group stalking on the rich paved roads in Orange County. There's nothing impressive about the people of the state. So Satan presents a whole facade for you to be distracted by while you're following them on social media, while you're getting your body, getting plastic surgery so you can look like them, so you can talk like them and think like them. It is mind control. It's conditioning. It's a distraction. And you're literally following Satan. I'm not going to mince words. You're literally following, mimicking, idolizing Satan. These are minions. And so this is shattering. There are so many lessons with regard to what I have been subject to and the multiplicity of faces. And then you have all of the different levels of background. And what you find is that how much money they make, the race the language that they speak, what their educational background, it has nothing to do with how sick they are and what they're engaging in and what they don't want other people to know. But they'll target that one person. The target individual will be subject to that sick conduct. And you're supposed to suffer in silence because no one's ever going to believe that you're being group stalked. That's supposed to be the contention of the paranoid schizophrenic. And so they openly, to the target individual, they're targeting in demonic methods that you're never supposed to be able to prove. No one's ever going to learn about. The millionaire that's group stalking in their Maserati, okay, while I'm sleeping in my four-door Camry. Homeless, okay? And that's not because I cannot take care of myself or that I'm incompetent and unable to hold a job. The entity is engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring that is surveilling and terrorizing at work, which is exactly what speaker companies demonstrated for the world yet again. This is what I was subject to in the workplace as a practicing attorney. And the people of the state who were sworn to the bar, the same bar, okay? We took the same oath and they are engaged in criminal activity, unconstitutional, un-American criminal conduct, and they were group stalking as we were sworn into the bar together. They were group stalking. Okay, so like I said, the heights of hypocrisy, so many things that just really, really don't matter on this side of eternity, and it shatters a lot of illusions. If you're paying attention, it does you a service. It's a service. It's like I said, this is a PSA. It shatters a lot of illusions that are out here in this world, and it is designed to keep you asleep, to keep you unconscious. So I'm going to digress there. Anyway, I am in Orange County, and this is the P.O.C. It's 6:03 a.m. Alrighty, and this is P.O.C. All right, it is currently 5:04 p.m. I'm taking images at Park Avenue and 19th Street, where license 7GFW967 is engaging in what is malice terrorism via amplified audible activity with a demon that's stalking using motorcycles. While demons listen to every word that you utter, especially regarding the fact that Costa Mesa PD and the entity in Orange County would openly engage in terrorizing me by flying at a low level in a black helicopter. Now that I have returned and the entity has witnessed the ways in which they are going to reap what they have sown, as I've documented the criminal conduct of the state of California. There's no helicopter over me today, but this is exactly where the pattern of conduct started. As I relocated from San Bernardino County, getting a new job in Los Angeles, starting over, which I should have been able to do as a fully competent attorney, going to work in a private practice for Michael Bialis, a third-party group stalker, who was going to be removed from the legal profession upon realizing that the LAPD that I just engaged in documenting for a prolonged period of time, that is the same demon-possessed and corrupt law enforcement agency, actually a terrorist organization, that were engaging in what is keeping me under surveillance, criminally surveilling me as I worked at the law offices of Michael Bialis, and as I went from court to court, and I mean Lancaster, Torrance, I went to Pomona, I went to Victorville, I went all over Southern California, and the people of the state were group stalking, including in the courts. The demons that are sitting on the bench, and I went before them, the so-called clients, all of the entity was monitoring me. And as I realized this, the Los Angeles Police Department were fully engaged in that. And after I realized that, which is a threat to your life, I immediately resigned. As you can see in the workplace, the terrorism that you're subject to, the entity is stalking by corrupt law enforcement agency, LAPD, in every courthouse that I went to. They were always present on the freeway. They were always around me, but they weren't pulling me over specifically. They would pull me over and then just let me go for just to engage in harassment. Oh, as I would show them, for example, my bar license and ask them what can I help you with, officer? And they would look perplexed as, oh, they didn't know. Oh, you can go. I didn't do anything in the first place. But let me be clear, they're stalking. They were engaging in a traffic stop under a fake sun while they're engaging in criminal surveillance. And I relocated to Orange County. This is where the demon-possessed Costa Mesa PD, who you see engaging in criminal summoning at the Orange County Fair, under that which is not the sun, for which they have no legal argument while they are engaging in state surveillance with the people of the state. And they're doing so absent any black helicopter that was hovering over my head, while the entity would engage in sexually violent conduct with the McDonald's that I just documented at Myers and 18th Street, where the entity would keep a helicopter over my head as I walked from that fake church that I just documented. And I would walk to the McDonald's just to use the restroom because I had to resign from my job, being forced to resign while the entity is keeping you under surveillance and threatening your life, the inexplicable stalking by corrupt law enforcement agencies, which is a threat, and it is appalling. And then there is no one to report when the police are the criminal. Understand the emergency that exists. And then you're surrounded by demons who are stalking you, and they are somehow aware, as they're alarmed, as they know somehow mysteriously that I'm taking a picture of their license plate behind their car. The demons would always engage in the conduct of speeding off because they knew exactly what I was doing while they're engaged in Title 18 conduct. This is the conduct that I knew and that I recognized intuitively and spiritually, but understand as an attorney, you have to prove it's not enough to know it. And that's what the P.O.C. serves as. So this is what I was subject to. And this is the egregious criminal conduct that the Costa Mesa Police Department would engage in. These demons are not doing so with a helicopter. But I want to be clear. The entity engages in amplified audible activity, group stalking while they're listening to me recall the openly terrorizing conduct that the entity would engage in when it thought that it was getting away with it, when it thought that they were going to murder me and or permanently kidnap me and no one would ever know. They were going to snuff me out. This is how you have black helicopters hovering over the top of your head while you're walking to the McDonald's because you have nowhere else to go to use the restroom. That's how you engage. That's why you engage in that conduct with demons who want to be looked at as affluent in Orange County. Okay, they are lower than the entity that is selling drugs on the corner, because at least they're out trying to make their own money. They're not plotting to murder people. Not that I advocate criminal conduct, not that I advocate selling drugs because it's harmful to the community, but you have what is the absence of people plotting on murdering someone, and they want to look as though they're different or they're better than someone else, and they're not. They are not. Both of them are engaging in what is sin. And what I want to be clear is this massive public corruption that is federal group stalking and monitoring. It is the most disgusting and despicable conduct that a people can practice while they serve Satan. 8 DWH 019. So the entity is engaged in criminal presence. This is not traffic. This is not life as usual. There is no maintenance of a son, that the one son, the exclusive son over me in Los Angeles at one apartment complex in Orange County never gets any sun. That's not the reality of things. The fake sun remains over me. These demons know exactly where I'm at, and they also know what I'm stating. And so the license plate that I recited is one that's engaging in criminal surveillance while seeking to engage in what is an act of harassment. While the demons listen to me recall in my car, because that's what they're ceaselessly engaged in. This is supernatural. All I'm doing is giving you the evidence of that which is supernatural that surrounds you at all times, and it is the ability to criminalize it. You can literally prosecute it. And so the entity is engaging in this conduct, and amplified audible activity occurs while a demon on a loud motorcycle crosses path. This is how demons threaten you. It's monitoring, first of all, period. It's monitoring. Second of all, the entity does so with simultaneity, knowledge of what it is that I'm stating physically inside of my car. You also know that because a fake sun is over me at that intersection, which is also what I took a picture of. The entity does so with regard to knowledge of what I'm stating as I'm recalling the cowardice that I'm also documenting, because there's no black helicopter hovering over my head today. And I would love it if you would entertain the world and show the world the terrorist that you are. COSTA Mesa PD, Newport Beach, Anaheim, you're a bunch of demons, you're corrupt. And I want to be clear, because of the absence of a helicopter that I can see or hear does not suggest that you're not engaged in the very pattern of conduct that I've already established. My credibility is also established. And the fact that the evidence has been stolen is that which I will directly testify to. You will still be prosecuted the same. Okay, so the government that's engaging in a bullying system will not evade or avoid any federal prosecution for the documented terrorism, even as the target individual will be permitted to recall it directly via testimony, as opposed to providing independent bases of documentation such as writings and pictures and video, because the entity stole it. And I've already shown the fact that I don't have to make up, and I'm not interested in making up the fact that police departments are demon possessed and that they're stalking me in helicopters. I've got years of evidence corroborating that. It is currently 5:11 p.m., documenting the fake sun that's over me in Orange County, passing third-party facilitating venue Starbucks that you know is a group stalker. There's no sun over the Starbucks at 706 West Holt Boulevard in Ontario, contrary to what I'm documenting, when it's rising over me at 7 in the morning and staying there, also setting after 6 in the evening. Starbucks at Westminster and 17th Street in Orange County is group stalking, and so is everybody else. Ulta Beauty, Staples, Target, Citibank, Coast Realty Group. The entity is engaging in what is the maintenance of a society filled with demons who are associated with commercial actors, companies that you work at, companies that you support, companies that you have stocks in them. You need to know that you're aiding and abetting the works of Satan, whether you know it or not. All right, so I just want to put this on my podcast. I am in Orange County. The light source is over me. This is supernatural, while the demons are engaging in openly exposed criminal activity. And as I add your name to the Rolodex of defendants, you will be prosecuted. So, like I said, the act of terrorism is I'm subject to it. The demons that to their own demise amplify audible activity inside of a fourth floor hotel room when you're not even under that which you can establish or reconcile with regard to a natural environment. That's the foolishness that the entity engages in. And so amplifying audible activity because you're a hostile demon, as you are aware of the fact that I'm aware that you're not stalking in a big black helicopter today, which was never any show of force. The entity sought to bully one that they thought that they could bully. They thought that they could bully me. So this is a return in order to capture what they so eagerly and openly engaged in before. But I don't see any helicopter today. They want to congregate around the Orange Fair as the means whereby they're engaging in state surveillance in their vehicles. That's what they're doing. All right. It is still the same criminal conduct, nonetheless. It is 8SQD 196. That's a third-party group stalking. I'm at Newport Boulevard and East 17th Street at 5:13 p.m. This is P.O.C. 6VWT361, terrorism via directed light across the third-party facilitating venue, nothing other than a religious organization, not the true Church of the Lord Jesus Christ, at 1885 Anaheim Avenue, Lighthouse of the Nazarenes. They're demons, and that's why Engineer Light swiped all across that venue right now at 5:19 p.m. to monitor me, to terrorize also, while that third party with that license is going to be prosecuted, okay? And everybody else in relevant positions monitoring with that demon. License 8WSS 624, license 6FMK 453, license 7XKN 337. And this overly eager demon, license plate 8TWU 994. This is 5:20 p.m. Again, crossing path to get back toward Harbor Boulevard, where I'm at, where the entity is engaged in group stalking. You can read license plates all day. The fake sun remains over me in Orange County, California. There was never any sun over Alvarado Gardens today. In conformity to the pattern of conduct, that's why you have the demon-possessed Dominic Choi and the entire demon-infected law enforcement agency. Okay, that's not what you are when you're engaged in the P.O.C. You are a recognized, you shall be a exposed and disbanded law enforcement agency. You're a terrorist organization. That's the truth of the matter. Okay, 8KEU200, 9KFV381, 8HLV214. And license 6RXA865. It's P.O.C. at, let me get this third party. License 9MLA097. License 9AVS943. The entity is so anxious to catch a federal case, so I just document. If they openly engage in terrorism, it's the malice of the system. That's the same P.O.C. The entity crossing path and a loud motorcycle's audible activity. And this is how passive aggressive and mentally ill demons engage in acts of retaliation. Remember, you're dealing with elements. Demons are monitoring you. So it is currently, again, 5:21 p.m. at Harbor Boulevard and 19th Street and Costa Mesa / Newport Beach. This is Costa Mesa, though, right here looking at the third-party facilitating venue Triangle Cinemas, where state surveillance is underway at 1870 Harbor Boulevard. This is P.O.C. All right, molesting with Engineer Light. These are sex offenders, which they all are. The entity goes out of its way to touch with Engineer Light. It's an act of the phenomenon. Unnecessary. The entity goes out of its way, and it's the same thing with regard to the amplification, also the work of the supernatural. The sex offender touches you while they engage in demonic activity. 7YMS241, 8KEU200. License 91597S3. 9CZT978, 82154 Frank 3. And that's a white Dodge van, white van. That's a Dodge Ram. License DB69G1B. That's a paper plate on a black, looks like an armored vehicle. It's fugly. Some sort of new thing in Orange County. That's a demon, okay, driving a matte black vehicle with a paper plate on it, and he's group stalking. And he or she wants to be looked at as something extraordinary. Extraordinary is going to be that federal prosecution for group stalking under the fake sun in Orange County. That again is a paper plate. It is currently 5:25 p.m. P.O.C. Sorry. 6XNF765. License DJ22S23, that's paper, on a white Ford F-150, D463E1. I am at Harbor Boulevard and Merrimack Way, where the fake sun is right over me through my driver's side window. License 6YHD823, license 6YZN581, license 7UOF900, license 6ZMM154. Passing Mesa Verde and Peterson Place, where I used to live. I used to live at Peterson Place Apartments at the intersection of Harbor Boulevard and Peterson Place. That was where, just like you've witnessed at Alvarado Gardens, the people of the state in Orange County were keeping me under surveillance in an apartment building. In my apartment, which is a private space, this is the sex offense that I was subject to in Orange County amongst the Costa Mesa Police Department, who are group stalking today, 8HNP852. This is while I was at law school down the street, which formerly Whittier Law School on Costa Mesa in Costa Mesa, California. 6XNF765 is crossing path again. OC bus, license plate, light activity. License 1661449, Route 43. Bus number 2227, crossing path, and their license plate and the cameras on those buses, they're engaged in criminal facilitation as opposed to the legitimate operation of a business. They are not different from Foothill Transit, Omnitrans, Metro. It is the P.O.C. License plate 8KKE842. It's currently 5:32 p.m. Facilitating light activity 7FRG765 is monitoring with a third party using a large tow truck. License 7MIM826. License 9DYJ605. Crossing Baker Street and Harbor Boulevard. Light source remains through my window, molesting my body, which isn't even sunlight, and it's not the sun. 9DYJ605 is engaged in state surveillance. Crossing path. License 1614961. O.C. Access is a facilitating group stalker using a commercial means to do so. O.C. Access, Orange County Transportation Authority, P.O.C. License 6RDT898. License 9BBK676. License 8JBS464. License NQA5MG, that's the Arizona plate. I suppose I have to go to a facilitating venue to eat. All right, it is currently 5:33 p.m. License 8ZRM712, engaging in what is assault with a deadly weapon. This is not ignorance about your presence. This is a demon that's backing up in front of me, which is a threat. The entity kidnaps. The entity engages in assault and battery. The entity engages in senseless targeting for no reason. Backing up in front of me when you are group stalking is a threat to my safety, and I'm documenting that third party who is engaging in what is a necessary means to cross path with me, and so they do so while the entity is stalking with hazard lights on. License 8MVW207 is group stalking with the minion in relevant position at the CarMax. CarMax is monitoring while a demon is on the outside of the vehicle here in the parking lot with their hazard lights on. It's facilitating light activity. P.O.C. Hi.
How are you?
I'm well. It's 5:34 p.m. License plates. Get this minion that's monitoring. 9HNU369. Light activity while I'm getting my order taken by another employee at the venue where I'm at right now. This is terrorism, just like you saw in what is Monrovia, where I'm in. Actually, I was in Pasadena, and the Pasadena police fly over me through the drive-thru at McDonald's and in a helicopter. This is terrorism in the drive-thru, where the entity is surrounding, the entity is stalking by virtue of whether I continue in traffic. They get in drive-thrus, they go to parking lots, they go shop and get out of their car to walk into the store to cross path. This is not a free society. Everybody's going about their business. They're group stalking, finding ways to engage in relevant positioning and creative methods such as group stalking in the drive-thru while you're looking at engineer light, fake sun, at the whole entire P.O.C. All right. It is currently, again, that's license 9HNU369. P.O.C., their payment and their presence on camera will be documented. That's terrorism via directed light while I'm just trying to eat a meal, get food. Okay, which you have to get from the people of the state, by the way. But I'm going to document that demon for terrorism via directed light. And the government, the entity is going to learn that you do not want to engage in terrorism via directed light. The entity is engaging in it just willy-nilly. I'll put it that way. It's going to be prosecuted. It's terrorism. You're going to be prosecuted as a terrorist, a domestic terrorist. It is as serious as stalking in helicopters, and that's what the people of the state are going to find out. It is 5:38 p.m. This is P.O.C. Okay, license 6CRC644, license 8YPV051, 4BPS458, 7LTJ145, 8GWW083, 4SLS126. All right, license plate 8MOT142, license MCG934. Again, I want to document and repeat while demons are aware that I'm documenting them. This one's going to be documented again. Crossing path, license 8YPV051 is not escaping. I'm going to prosecute him. He's engaged in group stalking. License 4RVG695, 4RVG695, 7UUM545. Okay, hold on. 8MOT142, license 7LUM545, license 8DHK003. A demon that's engaging in surveillance in the parking lot is now honking, which is audible activity, while they're stalking in a parking lot, and now all of a sudden they're in a rush to go, which is audible activity, relevant positioning. Again, 8MOT142, group stalking and a dirty scion, okay? His soul is dirty as well. He's going to be prosecuted for terrorism. License plate at the Motel 6, they're in relevant position, group stalking, engineer light covers the venue. 15080Y2, 8SC Z477, license plate. All right. I am recording in my car, and I believe it's connected to the Bluetooth, and that's why it's turning on and off. So I want to make sure that I'm capturing license plates. So if I'm repeating, it's because I have to make sure I'm getting everyone, because it's recording and starting and stopping. And that's because I'm trying to disconnect it from my car. So for my Bluetooth, 7LTJ145-4BPS458. 8GWW083. And as I was stating moments ago, I'm documenting the people of the state who are monitoring me with a third party that's engaging in terrorism and molestation via directed light. Well, all the people of the state in relevant position are monitoring me with that demon. That's group stalking via a drive-through. They're all around in relevant position, across the street in the parking lots, at the parking lot, and inside a Target, inside of even the restaurant that I just went into. They're all monitoring. So all I'm doing is reading the license plates of the entity that surrounds, while they're group stalking with the entity that was behind me in the drive-thru. That's what I'm capturing. Remember, it's group conduct. They're all group stalking together. Just reading the license plates of the demons who are engaging in surveillance. They're sitting around in the parking lot in their cars, crossing path. 6CRC644 is the license plate I read, just in case. Want to make sure I get that. 4UDH178. 8AUZ571, 49422C3, 9KZB749, 9KRH884, RUKIND, are you kind? A group stalker is not. That's what that license plate says. Group stalkers are not kind. They're group stalking. 8NJY868. These people's license plates, many times they crack me up. They will even be Bible verses while they are acting outside of the bounds of the Bible, of Scripture. ZTJ, and I don't just mean acting outside. You are engaged in demonic activity. 7TJZ331. They are group stalking while serving Satan. Okay. License 6WPF651. Oh, I thought he was talking to me. This is 8E50828. Yeah, this Caucasian female, 9KRH884, just engaged in a little bit of surveillance sitting in her car in relevant position, group stalking. They are all engaged in Title 18 as well, including the commercial actors. Motel 6. This is the Denny's. I'm at, again, what is third-party facilitating, I'm at the intersection, rather, at Geisler and Harbor Boulevard, where the fake sun is directly over me. 8YYL572, monitoring while another demon with engineer light drags across the curb, just like you saw in video, the demon driving the Falk ambulance, okay? Just a demon driving a state vehicle and a demon driving their own vehicle. 85695U3. This is P.O.C. It's currently 5:44 p.m. and I had to repeat some. If I read more than one, I'd rather repeat it than miss it. So that's why, because it kept recording and then stopping. So I had to make sure that I got everyone that I wanted to get right there. License plate 9NAM234. License 5YCR862. License 98066R2. In case I read, is this the same demon? No, this is a different one. Lifeline ambulance is group stalking, vehicle number 641. License 9CS8155. This is P.O.C. 8LLH344 N388H0. The demon is just engaged in ongoing terrorism and harassment via directed light. Metro Point Center. At the Metro Point at South Coast, this is a shopping plaza. They're all group stalking. All of every commercial actor, Crate and Barrel. Did you know that they're demon possessed, group stalking company owner and employees and patron? Okay, from the top down. That's why a light source that's not the sun is over me at that venue. 6J12594, 7HJS425, a sex offender, a demon driving a Porsche, license plate 8UBX555, a demon possessed group stalking sex offender in a black Porsche. group stalking. And if they're not a natural born citizen, appears to be an Asian male, not saying that you can't be a natural born citizen if you're of Asian descent, but if he's not a natural born citizen, he's going to be deported. I don't know if he can take his Porsche with him, if he can afford to do that, but he's going to be out of this country while he's group stalking in Orange County. License 12230 OTS. And I'm subject to terrorism while he's in relevant position in group stalking. All right. License plate 8PZE996 9HNZ 657. I'm at South Coast Drive and Bear Street. That's audible activity creation. License. Oh, can't see that license plate. License 7KDC 123 4WTD. I believe 695. Substantially similar. I can't really see that one. GA267, I believe. Handicap. That's a handicap license plate. I'm at the South Coast Plaza. Macy's is a third party. And I know that very well directly also. 9LQU676, besides the fact that the fake sun is over me as Macy's is in relevant position. But having a Macy's American Express credit card, 9BXH899. 9BHX899. Macy's, it's what was so uncanny is how the moment that I became homeless, it's as though everyone knew that I was quote unquote helpless. And so my excellent relationship that I had with my creditors and my school loans that I successfully maintained in forbearance. I did not have any defaults. I had excellent credit before the entity engaged in surveillance to the degree that I could not go to work, absent being threatened with my life and absent being subject to violence on the job. Okay, by the way, sworn attorneys. Engaging in workplace terrorism, harassment, and sexual violence as an entity. But the moment that I became homeless, this is where, again, Satan has an unfounded basis of confidence. And all of a sudden, although nothing changed with my relationship with Macy's American Express in particular, and upon my calling, and this is just speaking to what is harassment by an entity and everything, you're not dealing with an individual company or an individual on the phone. Who you are, which is speaking to a massive surveillance system, and it is demonic at its core. And Macy's American Express, Macy's, engaged in what is harassment and also engaged in federal stalking. It was audible activity. They were monitoring me. But they also engaged in license 8JMJ105. What they engaged in particular, Costa Mesa's police group stalking with that third party, that's federal prison. Just want to point that out. And so is everybody at this plaza right now. The state's here group stalking under a fake sun with a corrupt law enforcement agency that engages in stalking in helicopters and engaging in kidnapping and criminal defamation. That's Costa Mesa police under a fake sun at South Coast Plaza. License 8JLK161 group stalking with the state. 8FOP665 group stalking with the state. MMILBES group stalking with the state. 9EOP964 license. 7ZTS388 license. Demonic pacing in front of me on foot, and license 9GSG496 while the minions are group stalking on foot around 9CTP449, and Costa Mesa police is engaged in group stalking at the venue. 7CKE493. They're all group stalking with Costa Mesa police. Right now it is 5:55 p.m. Excellent time, by the way. So the entity is engaging in my request to change my mailing address as I'm severing ties with the people of the state that I was living with, Tracy Banks, threatening my life. And living there, did not consent to the government. And when you're prosecuting and then you're recognizing the people of the state, this is the state. You're parading as though that's not actually your family. That's not actually your friend. This is actually a third party, which is why the specific environment is where I live. All right. And the entity is severing ties. And so I call American Express Macy's a third party engaged in Title 18 by virtue of the phone call and criminal surveillance by virtue of the audible activity created by that phone call. And they engage in what is harassment. And the entity does so pursuant to a pattern of knowledge of everything going on with your life. And I happen to be in a vulnerable situation. I'm homeless. And this is speaking to an explanation as to why all of a sudden Macy's was so unreasonably uncooperative. And I had an excellent relationship with them. Never missed a payment. Never. I pay my bills. I always pay my bills. And I had my Macy's American Express for years. And the only reason why I'm mentioning this is because the harassment that I was subject to by Macy's, a third party who was group stalking right now in Orange County. License 9BGU647, 9NEZ212. License 9GVU582, 7UPZ018. Demons who are group stalking with Macy's. So nonetheless, and Costa Mesa Police. So nonetheless, the entity, upon my request to just change my address. Can you please change my address? My life is being threatened. I feel threatened. The people of the state that I live with physically attacking me, summoning the terrorist organizations to my house for no reason. I wasn't even talking to the people of the state that I was living with. We weren't in conversation. Okay? When you are threatened, it behooves you to not talk to the person that's threatening you. You move away. That's what I was doing. And the entity that was hostile to that, hostile to what I know about their condition and their conduct, which I didn't shout from the mountaintops. I just sought to pack up my stuff and move away. And the entity engaged in criminal summoning, the P.O.C, textbook P.O.C. All right. And the entity is engaging in this conduct while I am vulnerable, and Macy's is declining to cooperate and just change my address so that I can keep. I needed my credit. Understand the harassment that Macy's, a third party, engaged in. I very well did not have to sleep in my car and be homeless if I had access to my American Express credit card. Rather than just changing my address, which they had the ability to comply with, they engaged in putting a freeze inexplicably. Nobody said that it was lost. Nobody said that I was a different person. They froze my ability to, disabled my ability to use my car upon my request to just change my address from one where I shared it with the people of the state whom I lived with at the time. Let me be clear. While I'm being monitored, while Macy's is monitoring me, this is not ignorant conduct that they're engaging in. This is not something that will be made legitimate because they're stating, oh, it's our policy to do X, Y, Z. This is relevant to the pattern of conduct. And so this is everything that the entity claims. For example, YouTube, oh, we have a policy where there's a limit to how many videos you can upload in a day based on your account, whether it's a standard, intermediate, or advanced. And that policy is not going to apply to a targeted individual. So YouTube is going to have to revisit that upon federal prosecution BL22S88. You're not going to limit evidence that the people of the state are caught engaging in federal crimes. I guarantee you the federal government, the feds, are going to confirm what I just told you. But I want to let you know right now, I'm laying down what the rule is. No third party on the venue of the internet is going to dictate how and how much evidence you can publish. That's not how the people of the state, that's not their role. That's the government. That's not what's happening. But nonetheless, it's analogous to that. Oh, well, we have a policy, excuse me, I'm multitasking, excuse me. But we have a policy where if you ask, and I'm just giving a hypothetical, let's say Macy's says, oh, we have a policy, well, if you ask to change your address, well, we have to freeze your ability to access your account, and they can come up and say whatever they want. I want to let you know that the entity knows how vulnerable I was. Macy's is indeed a third-party group stalker. And that was a means of further handicapping my ability to be on my feet and not have to be homeless, literally sleeping. Go ahead if you want to. License 8KNH254 and license NOLTAS with the hand in front of it, 8JUU042. And so handicapping my ability to avoid sleeping on the street in my car if I had access to my credit card, which, by the way, never before had I ever requested an address change. Have I ever had an issue with my identity? Had I made any claim related to my identity? I need to change the mailing address. Very simple request. Okay. And this was based on my life that was currently under threat, including by Macy's, who's group stalking me. 7PLL492, a demon with engineer light all across the building while she's crossing path. Okay. All kinds of races, by the way, walking around with MAC makeup on and their faux leather jackets and their tights, their yoga tights, and their high up ponytails. I was about to say a celebrity's name, but I'll keep celebrities' names out of it. And they're engaging in group stalking. Demon-possessed group stalking. Engineer light, not different. The same exact P.O.C. So let me document a commercial actor. This is security. License 55955W3. They're wearing yellow shirts. They're on surveillance cameras at South Coast Plaza. And there's one with a white shirt accessing South Coast Plaza security. That's the license plate. Group stalking with light activity. PPO12469. The license 48918V3. This is South Coast Plaza security. And they're group stalking with Costa Mesa Police. That's called light activity. A fake son. Costa Mesa Police license 1647071. Group stalking. Did you know Tiffany and Companies? They serve Satan. They're group stalking. Okay. They're in serving excuse me, let me get this third party license plate. 9LIG664. They are selling high quality jewelry, and they're group stalking while doing it. This is what's so pathetic about Satan. People covet Tiffany and Company, excuse me, and what they sell. You're purchasing from minions. And the entity is doing so. They're doing so in an entirely cartoon environment. The South Coast Plaza, and they're criminals. They're felons. They're corrupt. It's an illegitimate business, and the entity is doing so. So I just want to document that. Nonetheless, the entity is engaging in what is harassment. As I went into that just to speak to what Macy's is, what Macy's represents. I did enjoy my Macy's American Express. And I do deserve to be not put back in the place where I was absent this criminal system that I was subject to. But and you're talking about substantial justice, which is well beyond absent the state's pattern of conduct. I was already a licensed attorney. You're talking about years of being held back, being harassed, being terrorized, being group stalked, being homeless, not of any doing of mine, being harassed by commercial actors such as Macy's American Express, which the credit card I literally relied on, and I very well could have had somewhere to stay. This is just causing more and more intangible and tangible harms that I suffered based on the pattern of conduct by the state. You're a subject, and this is the threat that the people of the state pose while they're group stalking you. And you're just thinking in your mind, assuming that you're just being harassed, you're just facing a difficulty posed by an individual or just by some company, and they're the people of the state. That's how the government terrorizes your life, as opposed to one company or an employee of a company that's just harassing or being difficult. It's terrorism while a population engages in that. Harassment as an entity. That's what harassment as an entity is. So I just wanted to go through that. I'm going to be suing. They're one of many every credit card, every debit card. I've shown you what JP Chase and Morgan is doing. Okay. Just want to point that out. Every bank account that I've ever had, public information, every credit card, every payment, all the money this is all public information, while all the demon possessed openly provide their information because they're part of the surveillance state. They don't mind keeping each other under surveillance while they have sex with whoever it is they're having sex with. They're all, this is what Satan's system is. You don't have any privacy. But the targeted individual has not consented to that. They're not a part of that system. Perhaps they don't want to be a part of this little demon-possessed orgy that they have going on. I don't want to be a part of that. And I have a constitutional right to not be placed under surveillance in private moments with regard to all of my so-called private information as well. I've got rights that exist. So the entity is engaging in conduct which serves very well to cause harms that Macy's Express is instrumental to, as I was subject to the P.O.C. and forced into homelessness based on the criminal system and based on the harassment and terrorism by the people of the state, which Macy's is directly engaged in that. And then it continued beyond. Then I continued to make payments on my credit card even after, because I needed it. And I documented, again, this is evidence that was stolen by the state, but I documented the multiple payments, hundreds and hundreds of dollars that I paid, and Macy's did not, they took my money, but they didn't apply it to my account. So they just took my money, and when I looked into my account, none of the payments were processed, were taken, so they just took my money. And again, this is what the entity does. I'm literally faceless. I'm homeless. I don't have a job. I'm not filing taxes. I don't have an address or anything where to locate me. But I am making payments on my credit card. Who are you going to tell? That's what the entity is. Well, who are they going to tell? Who's the target individual? They're nobody. What are they going to do? This is the type of conduct that these big companies engage in. All right, took my money that but I paid it because my credit card would have helped me a lot with regard to avoiding homelessness. Perhaps temporarily, I could have got a job, which is exactly what I did. I went to LA, got another job. But the entity was keeping me under surveillance. So I was only hired for the entity to keep me under surveillance and threaten me, while the demon-possessed police departments were obsessively stalking. And my being a practicing attorney enabled them to do that. So they were stalking in the courts with the corrupt DAs, okay? Under the form of meeting with the clients, under the form of going to testify before the judge. They were group stalking while I was practicing law in LA. Okay. But I would have been able to get a hotel room, use my credit card, get another job. This is the plan I had. And that's what unfolded. That's what I did. And then I discover I'm subject to a whole state system of surveillance, and it's demonic. It is out of hell. Okay. So that's a whole other monster, okay, that I approached. And the Lord Jesus gave me the wisdom, the insight in order to handle it, what to do with that. Which the enemy sought to destroy me with. So anyway, that's just some relevant history. And this is speaking to the P.O.C. that Macy's is indeed engaged in. The fake sun is over at South Coast Plaza. This is looked at as some well-known high-end plaza. They're a bunch of demons wearing a lot of jewelry. If that's impressive to you, it shouldn't be. Rearrange your priorities. Okay, Satan serving minions with a lot of jewelry that you will not die with. It's not going to save your soul. So this is what the entity is doing on an ongoing basis. I'm going to turn this way. And doing so while I'm now in Orange County. So this is the pattern of conduct, and the entity is at South Coast Plaza, stalking in the path with engineer light. It does not change because they're white and their yoga tights and their faux leather jackets and high up ponytails. They're the same exact demon-possessed group stalkers. And there will be no respecter of persons with regard to their prosecution. P.O.C. It's currently 6:07 p.m. GR 9268. That is a Washington, D.C. plate. While demons such as 9LPD 625 in the opposite lane. Cross path with engineer light moving all across the walls. 6TCL 179. Just like you saw the demons doing, driving onto Best Western into the parking lot to group stalk. And then just going about free-nearly while they engage in very serious criminal acts of terrorism on video. This is the mind state of the demon-possessed, the people of the state that are so deceived that they think that they will engage in those series of federal offenses. The federal government is going to be reviewing that evidence, and they engage in it openly. Openly. This is recognizing terrorism in the U.S., and they engage in it on video over and over and over and over and over again, which is the, by the way, the direct evidence of what is insurmountable proof that the population of California is engaged in terrorism, which is group stalking, and that they're demon possessed as well, which is not something that I'm proving by a legal standard. It's something that I'm proving beyond your ability to reasonably question it, however, and I'm simultaneously exposing demon possession. But nonetheless, I just want to document that license plate. It is currently 6:10 p.m. P.O.C. All right, monitoring while engineer light flashes all inside of my car. 9DQW757 at the Jack in the Box. You'll find his payment method. He'll also be on surveillance cameras at what is Fairview Road and Baker Street. 6812OW2 8XDL998 85646W2. Paper plate DM50M77. That's on an Escape. That's a white Escape. I don't know if that's a Ford. 8MVL080. The demon possessed that engage in surveillance any and everywhere you go, while impossible light activity that you saw on the walls of Best Western and on the bank and on the DMV wall, it's occurring in my car. License again DM50M77. That's a white paper plate on a Escape. On a white, I don't know what that is, a Scion Escape, I don't know what that is, but it's an unheard of vehicle to me, but that's a paper license plate. 5SCY915. License plate 68120W2. License 9DKT935. 9CFW905, 3UCP941, 5ZNT618, 8MKU923, 5CCV859, HNYBNZ1, 8VFG805, 8YHY898, 8NPC952, 58723S2, 6LHY587, 0444B2. Let me get that. 04444B2. License 8A65472. 8T58096. 8VVZ793. 4RGH084. 6BAW694. 8C67492. 6NMH983. License plate 2WSL057, license 7AQC594, 8MBU559, 5YVT257, 2X890, I believe. I can't really see that one. 7VBZ649, 6DZN663, 4PQB199, The entity maintaining engineered light inside of my car, documenting by license 8VGU976. Driving down the street, getting the light source getting the license plates of people of the state while I'm subject to this terrorism. The entire entity is group stalking. So passing through, going down the street, documenting all the people of the state, all their license plates. They're going to be prosecuted for state terrorism with the state of California, and they're doing so while the fake sun is over me on their street. And I'll get the street name, and I'm looking at the address, which is nearest 3017. One second, let me take a screenshot of it. All right, license 6SWR12999192X2. You already got that. 31198U2. 8LNS137 52650B3. That's a commercial Taber, Taber vehicle. 10993H2. I think I documented these already. Yeah, I did. 6BLX467. All right, just going down a neighborhood street while the entity is engaging in terrorism in the car. This is the engineered light, impossible light activity while demons surround you in traffic. And this is the psychopath. I want to be clear, that psychopath, that mental illness, 8EUX 893. There's no difference when you're in Orange County. So I cannot stress this enough. There's no demon on Mulholland Drive that is an exception because you've even seen them on the silver screen or because they produce a movie. I'm out here in Orange County amongst the housewives, if you will. And the entity is engaged in the same exact psychotic and demonic pattern of conduct. Okay. License 8SJG217, Orange County Transportation OCTA Authority, 1589697. That's vehicle 2109. License 6YHH942. License 9GAF550. License 8CVR598. 8ZVU086. 7KOA028. 9LQV404. This is surveillance on the roads and the highways. So this is capturing the light source while I'm at the intersection of Baker Street and Fairview Road at 6:17 p.m. It is an impossibility that the sun is at any location where it could be seen through my hotel window of room number 417 at Town Place Suites by Marriott. When I'm capturing the light source that you can see reflected on the vehicle with license 8SJG217 in Orange County, specifically Costa Mesa at the intersection of Fairview Road and Baker. You can see the light source as I just took a screenshot image of it while I am behind the Orange County Transportation Authority. A group stalker, a demon, is driving the bus. It's a commercial means of engaging criminal surveillance, light activity, and relevant positioning while I'm subject to ongoing terrorism via directed light, which is the evidence of a light source and not the sun. And it is also speaking to what is the criminal pattern of conduct that I was subject to in Monrovia, 7PLF048, and that I'm subject to now in Costa Mesa. License DLM3. That's an impossible occurrence that the sun that's through the window of hotel number 417 in Monrovia is reflected off of the vehicle at Baker Street and Fairview Road at 6:17 p.m. All right. And that is exposing every single last person in the state of California. It's also exposing their condition. These are demons who are stalking. And the demons who like to engage in stalking, they like to engage in harassment via directed light, which is revealing their mental illness. Never should you provoke a prosecutor, the one who is prosecuting you. That's not wise to do. I don't know if they think that there's some sort of untrained, unskilled, and you can't even calculate the fact that the sun is not going to be over one building for 12 hours. And you think that you're going to conspire against a prosecutor who's exposing your condition and your criminal conduct while you want to look to the left and right in the vehicle in front of me. That's the person that they're engaging in this demonic behavior in front of. 9GAF550 included. License, this is the P.O.C. So I'm in Orange County, and this is the no sun through the hotel window, which I told you, which is the case. SIRIUSX. License, that's the license plate, Sirius X. And the entity is keeping a light source that's now out, that's capturing an outright departure again, because there's no sunset through my bedroom window in Alvarado Gardens Apartments either, while you see it reflecting off of the vehicle adjacent to me in Costa Mesa, California. There's no sun that's going to be seen through my bedroom window at Alvarado Gardens. Okay. Hence, third-party group stalker, license plate 8YED773 MESAGAS. License 8ASJ671 7XCY289 9GTF248 6XJU805 6EBB271 S636572, that's Illinois. 9GDK024, 8BOT003, 6CLD580, 6LYY913. Stater Brothers Markets inside of the shopping plaza. Fake sun is over me. The entity is crossing path in the parking lot. That's who I'm documenting right now. 8HLV4L1. 9BMU593. A demon that touts that their daughter or son is going to U.C. Berkeley. Their parent that's touting them is a demon-possessed group stalker. Okay? That third party is engaged in relevant positioning. 6VNU366 and light activity creation. And they're touting on their license plate that their child goes to Berkeley or went to Berkeley. That's a demon. 77393E3, I believe. License 8XFL206. It is currently 6:21 p.m. Minions are funny. They're fleeing as opposed to driving in traffic. These demons are fleeing. 8SDF329, 8CWB351. License. Oh, while they're fleeing, they're still monitoring. 7KPV800. License 7EDU061, 5DCZ114. 8SPN868. Light activity, relevant positioning. Fake sun over me. License plate 9AOC502, 5HFW843. 9KGG775. License 9CDK002. Their criminal co-conspirator has engineered light dragging across another vehicle that's group stalking in the traffic lane. 8XUP508. License 1481269. Newport Mesa United School District. Demons working amongst minor children, engaging in Title 18 with them. Those are sex offenders. Those are terrorists. Those are stalkers. The mentally ill working amongst minor children. License 9BCD839. License 7ZNC850. The demons that like to engage in demonic behaviors while they know your genitalia is exposed. They like to wait till the moment that you're physically disrobed. They like to place cameras in your private space in order to watch you disrobe and put you on the dark web, so then they can group stalk you in public as well, know when you're getting home, fly over your private space in helicopters while they engage in this state surveillance system, and they work at facilitating venues such as the such as the Unified School District. Those are the demons driving such vehicles. That's the people of the state. 8SHJ424, 8JLU341, 84883L2. It is currently 6:23 p.m. A fake sun remains over me at this intersection where demons are engaging in surveillance via traffic. This is not different from what the demons are doing at Myrtle and Huntington, where engineer lights dragging across the curb while a demon is driving a Falk ambulance. Demons fill this street while they're engaging in demonic pacing. So this is learning to train your eye with regard to what Satan is doing amongst the people, which is exposing corrupt government, public corruption. That's what this is. Lawlessness. License 4XEG 316, 9DEH560, engineer light, 8JVC090. Oh, okay. Let me thought I needed to go ahead and document something else right now. I was going to say everyone that I just read is going to federal prison, but I'm editing myself. Never mind that. I don't remember if I do this first or last. I think I do it first. Oh, sorry. I'm thinking out loud. Okay, I'm done reciting license plates right now. Okay, it's P.O.C. at 6:24 p.m. That's amplification. License 7DKS333. P.O.C. All right, 61685R3. Stalking with activity by hurrying up and crossing path at the same time that I engage in new activity. I want to be clear. Our cars are literally like just mobile communication devices. So as I connect my Bluetooth, because I'm surrounded, I have two other people vacuuming their cars on both sides of my vehicle. You have new movement as I start playing music. Immediately that third party arrives in order to cross path by going to the drive-through. This is stalking in the path. And you know that it's not a coincidence. Oh, how do you? Because the fake sun is over me. That's how I know. Okay? There's no sun that's going to be over this location where it is rising and setting at Alvarado. And as demonic and impossible as it is, you use that evidence against Satan. If there's a sunset through my bedroom window in Los Angeles, that is not over this car wash in Costa Mesa. Okay, and then you can isolate the venue. We also know, as a matter of fact, because it does not require a degree in rocket science, that the sun is not going to be stationary such that it is both rising and setting at the same address, which I can document as I get it outside of my living room window and outside of my bedroom window 12 hours later. That's the pattern of conduct. That's how you know that that is a demon who was stalking with activity. It is in conformity to the population's pattern of conduct. Okay, and that's also documenting what is impunity. It is currently 6:28 p.m. This is P.O.C. License 78313A2. Engineer light while they cross path going into the drive-through of the car wash. P.O.C. Oh, let me get who else is documenting with them since they're engaging one after another. I might as well just keep it on and get everybody. That's right here because more will arrive. License 6SJW078. And these minions license plate. Hold on 1 second. License 7DKS333 5WVG180. And I'll show you the light source that's right over me at a car wash in Costa Mesa, California, and not in perfect alignment with my bedroom window in Los Angeles. Not seen visible through the hotel room of number 417 at the Monrovia Town Place Suites by Marriott. License 7GNY291 is a documented terrorist, a group stalker acting with the state, not a Secret Service agent, okay? And not qualified to be one, threatening my life while engaging in what is malicious criminal engagement, federal group stalking and monitoring with the state of California. In other words, acting on behalf of the state. That's group stalking in helicopters and police vehicles. All right, that's how they do so in concert with the government, with the state. All right, they're acting on behalf of the state, and they're unofficial employees of the state. All right, it is currently 6:29 p.m. P.O.C. License plate 9JDL631. License 9ADW404. 7RYA411 PEEWEE. License CSE6029. That's an Arizona plate. That's an aged third-party group stalker. Liver spots. Caucasian. Criminal summoning. She's going to federal prison. 7YKC510. License. Under the fake sun, you're recognizing criminal summoning. Engineer light. License 8EGU566. License. This is the Costa Mesa Police. The feds are going to visit them, so they are entirely illegitimate. License. Who's going to federal prison? 8VAW757 in their blue Tesla. They're going to federal prison. License. Hold on. License plate 303181. That is Costa Mesa with lights at Baker Street. Group stalking. License plate of the people of the state who are group stalking, and they're doing so while the entity uses their motorcycles with light activity, and they're present to engage in the P.O.C. with the people. 7DKS333, federal prison. License. This is criminal summoning. They do so the same thing with the, for example, the entity that is arriving and they're not helping the people. This is what they do with helicopters, and everybody goes to federal prison. This is what they're doing now in the middle of the intersection, directing traffic to have light activity and presence by the state. They're group stalking in plain sight under a fake sun. So a demon directing traffic under the fake sun is called P.O.C. 7YKC510, federal prison. 7RYA111, federal prison. License plate PEEWEE. That one's going to federal prison, and they can thank Costa Mesa PD, those demons who come to participate directly with them. They're going to federal prison. License plate. Let me get this fake sun over Fairview Road and Baker Street, where this demon is standing in the middle, group stalking with the people of the state. Let me get that. Oh, I'm sorry. This is CHP. Let me get this demon. Hold on. Hold on 1 second. I love it. License 9DES361. I love it. I love it. License 30144-637, I believe. License EPO8055, Gold Coast Tours. Commercial actor. 1618844, California Highway Patrol. Group stalking with the state that came and filled the middle of the intersection in order to direct traffic so that Gold Coast Tours, a commercial actor, the driver of those coaches. You're talking about federal prison, group stalking commercially. I'm going to sue Gold Coast Tours. 00687R1, and I've documented that commercial actor already. 8RBA998. 8CLR445, And the entity, let me get the fake sign that's over this intersection. Every license plate that I just read, that's federal prison. The entity comes and participates. Oh, we're here with our lights. This is called criminal summoning, and we're going to direct the coaches that are coming through. Very important cargo. Those are demons on those buses, group stalking. And that was nothing other than the entity knows exactly where I'm at. They wanted to come and participate in the P.O.C. The demons who are these terrorist organizations, they always want to come because they cannot protect these demons who I'm documented by license plate. The entity always does so. Reference the documentation. Who arrives in helicopter as I start reciting people's social security numbers and taking their pictures. That's the state. That's exactly what they just did via CHP. That license plate, that's federal prison. And every license plate of every demon group stalking with that light, they're all going to federal prison. Every single last one of them. License 9867OR2. License 98QT817. Understand the wage of the threat by a population that's group stalking. That's why you have so many who are going to federal prison. 58651P2. 8NXA. Hold on. 8NXA 785. 9KPS 359, 8ZXN 411. The state had to come and participate. The people go to federal prison while the state wants to come. Can't protect these demons. 98QT 817. They can't protect themselves. They can't protect themselves. License 9KMK 942. License 8FRR 915. 6JKR 238, 6WMZ 520, 8ARV 856, 83197G1, 5XAG 549, 9BMZ 357, 8VUT 022, 9DFH 972, 6MZ, hold on, 6M28721, 7ZTJ 640, 8PYU 478, 8RMX 737, 9GDE 037, 9LKP 920, 8UFY 743. Family full of minor children, a family of group stalkers, and including minor children and state surveillance with the state. 8SRB 995. License 9CKZ 323. License 9ADW 404. 6JJS 008. So understand what the entity just did, engaged in an iteration of the P.O.C. All of the people of the state, it's not just these demons with these license plates. Shell Gas is engaged in federal stalking. The documented Starbucks at the at Baker Street, I've already documented them before. I've returned to Orange County, but they're already documented terrorists. And you know very much about Starbucks. The Starbucks in Montclair, there's no sun over Ramona and Hope Boulevard in Montclair, California. That was a facilitating venue. And Starbucks is out here group stalking with another corrupt law enforcement agency. You have many baristas who are going to federal prison, by the way. I documented them engaged in harassment with these corrupt law enforcement agencies. 7YRT934. The entity arrived to engage in participating. We want to look like we're doing something. Those demons came and directed traffic just so they can jump in. That's the ego, the mental illness of the demon possessed. License 8LJK418. And they had on a gray, olive green. That may very well have been Orange County Sheriff's Department engaging. They were on their motorcycles. Or CHP. Okay, license 8YVF220, 9ESD354, 9GUG032, license plate 9KAV244, 9HNU310, 6JJS008, 7CHG379, 9MDT444, V217AO, 93118U3, 7EQB111, 8AUR055. Okay, too many lip fillers, and she's a demon-possessed group stalker. 8GHL972, 4REL7, I can't really see that one, you can scratch that one. 5YBU908, 8UQW849, 8XYP001, 9FGC632, driving a Porsche, group stalking. I'm going to prosecute, she's a terrorist. License 8GCE881, 6VKF302, license plate 8NYG975, license plate. And I'm also, be clear, I'm going to prosecute Shell Gas, the employee, the surveillance cameras, criminal presence, the demons filling up their gas while the entity was group stalking with law enforcement, federal prison. It's more than just the license plates here. Everybody acting with the state that came and wanted to participate. Satan cannot help themselves. This is what they do in helicopters. This is what they do when they're engaging in criminal summoning, sounding sirens around the block. That's what they did, coming and jumping into the middle of the intersection. Everybody documented, including, let me be clear, these terrorist organizations, the Costa Mesa Police Department, these sheriff's departments, they're already handled. Understand that. I'm prosecuting the people. And you're going where I'm telling you you're going. 9LMV267, they're going. The state, these terrorist organizations, they're already done. They're already done. What the state is doing is not a mystery. I'm prosecuting the people. 8FDD970, 7VCZ450. There is no terrorist organization that is hereby in existence. They're going to federal prison, 4TKJ236, group stalking with Costa Mesa PD. All right, crossing path right now. And doing so on traffic cameras at Baker Street and Fairview Road at 6:56 p.m. License plate 6F26702. License 7VCZ450. License 8XSS326. 8 Xavier Samuel 326. License 7BIB642. License 7MBN444 via the car wash, group stalking. License 8PJZ915. License 9JPN218. I think I read that one already. Yeah, I think I read that one. DJ33V54, that's paper. Yeah, that was likely the Sheriff's Department, Costa Mesa. They look like they're in black, but that could have been. I'm not going to assume. I'm capturing the entity that's group stalking with corrupt law enforcement agencies, and they're doing it on traffic cameras. This is all my evidence, and it's not going anywhere, and the entity is doing so beyond just my eyes. So the entity is being documented. 9BDB976, and everybody who's license plate, I will repeat, while the entity is in the course of terrorizing me to my face, because that's what you're doing under the fake sun and engineer light, and that's also what you're doing as a documented pattern, stalking me in helicopters in Orange County. They arrived to participate in the middle of the intersection. Everybody's going to federal prison that I documented by license plate 8WSF871, and documented again in relevant position as the entity is crossing by Gold Coach Tours. This is supposed to be the guise under which the entity is group stalking, and then flew from the scene with behind those coach vehicles. Let me be clear, the cowards that are these demon-possessed terrorist organizations. It's absurd levels of cowardice, while they are going to now be reaping what they've been doing for years. 5WSH969, 8VFT582 with a minor child in the front seat. License 9HHE304. Group stalking with minor children. You're going to learn the ways in which you're going to be prosecuted for that and removed from such children while you're threatening the life of another and that child. You're a psychopath and a mentally ill, demon-possessed group stalker. P.O.C. 7UGC015, license plate with minor children, 9BIK612, license 7ELY257, license plate QYC-T48, that's Florida, CV70Y66, 9KZG768, license 8UQY348, in case I didn't read that one. If I did, that demon is pacing. License 88TR317, 17700Z1, Henry 788U1. 9DRC046, 7TAM118, 85804A as in Apple 2. This is P.O.C. Let me get the group stalking, engaging in surveillance in the parking lot. I'm going to get these demons over here. I'm going to get these demons. I already got her in her crusty Versa with engineer light. License 8SVD966. License 9EJV305. License plate. Hold on one second. Group stalking in the State of Brothers parking lot under a fake sun. These are supposedly thugs with tattoos on their faces. Group stalking. Okay. 8YDP. Hold on. Can't really see this. Paper plate D494K89. That's a paper plate. And are we having a car show over here or something? That's funny. They're recording each other, but this is relevant positioning. Is there a car show or something over here? Oh, is that supposed to be a threat? Is that supposed to be a threat? Is that a threat? Oh, okay. I don't take too kinds of threats. I don't. You might better be careful. I don't. All right, let me get a few more license plates. 8CPH738, 9JXM971, 8AFX713, 56918T3, 57887J3, 6NRK208, 7TAZ440, 92622G2, that's C country or SFA country, that's a tow truck. 8NKC840, 7ZGP328, 8UDT402. This is relevant positioning. This is massive surveillance. So I'm documenting hundreds of the people of the state crossing path with the state that participated directly by Costa Mesa police. That's the state acting directly. This is all state action. It's vicariously underway by the population, and then it's shared through the unnatural environment. It's demonic activity, and that's terrorizing an American citizen. So that's the significance of what I just documented right now. My recorder is apparently stopping and starting. Let me get this license. Excuse me, this license AZTZ337. Group stalking by the car wash. So I want to make sure that you recognize that I'm documenting the corrupt law enforcement agencies who are arriving at the intersection because the state wants to directly participate in it. And what they know that I'm capturing, and you're not in a position, and they never were. The state is never in a position. All the state does is exacerbate the punishment of the people of the state, the criminal co-conspirator. Both aspects of this criminal system are going to be prosecuted accordingly. And they both serve an intolerable level of a threat to the life of an American citizen, while a conspiracy to murder and or kidnap an American citizen is underway via group stalking. There's no reason you are engaging in group stalking an American citizen other than for the criminal purpose to terrorize them, while you engage in the demonic behavioral pattern, while you are maintaining what is a malicious method of stalking as a demon-possessed entity in that demonic environment, and then communicating all manner of threats together as an entity, while your criminal conduct that's malicious is known and identified, and then the entity communicates more of a threat as they employ more and more demonic methods and methods of malice, which is what the entity demonstrated arriving in the intersection to direct traffic. That was light activity, relevant positioning, doing so under the fake sun. Directing traffic under the fake sun is P.O.C. Everyone knows that. We're almost all on the same page there. That's literally what the demons of, I believe that is Orange County Sheriff's Department. And I documented Stanton, that was Stanton, California, and I believe they have olive green. The O.C. Sheriff's Department wears olive green, which, if I recollect correctly, that's exactly what I saw. It was either gray or olive green. It does not look like they did not appear to be dressed like Costa Mesa police officers. I saw Costa Mesa PD cross path, and so again, as you are subject to the state, as you see them, that's a threat. The entity is harassed by corrupt law enforcement agencies. They're kidnapped. They're defamed. They're being terrorized. Okay, they're being defamed by them. Excuse me. They're being, in other words, harmed by them, and then they are arriving in a specific environment. So you're understanding the threat that's posed by the state when they are present in any way in the specific environment, which you are also analyzing. That's a threat as well. And then the entity is communicating a threat intentionally because they know that you are aware of it because you're documenting, and they're engaged in federal stalking. So they are communicating a threat. Demons that are arriving representing the state, which is exactly, I want to reiterate, because every license plate that I read is going to federal prison for that. That's the pattern of conduct. They were group stalking at the fair under the fake sun. And the fairgrounds in the specific environment is P.O.C. Directing traffic in the specific environment is P.O.C. Okay, doing so while I just so happen to be documenting a massive amount of people, that's what the entity always does. They like to do it in helicopters as well, which fills the substance of the P.O.C., the evidence of the P.O.C. That's what I have years of. And the entity is engaging in the pattern of conduct to the demise of the people of the state. Because everyone that I document, in other words, a third-party group stalker is terrorizing me with the kidnappers, the terrorists that are Costa Mesa PD, license plate ABCD 123, they're going to federal prison. That's how it works, because they're targeting you together, and the entity engages in a pattern such that you're supposed to stand down, you're supposed to be terrorized, scared to death, which reasonably so. The entity is reasonably fearful for their life. First of all, you're reasonably fearful of the state that engages in violating you and your rights while stalking and targeting you in a demonic environment amongst demonic behavioral patterns while driving a police vehicle or riding on a motorcycle representing a law enforcement agency, and then targeting you and wanting to look like, oh, we're directing traffic. Everybody go to the left. Everybody you stop over here, and they're group stalking you. Understand the experience of the target individual, and it is not solely existing in their mind. It's within the P.O.C. That's how the pattern of conduct is designed to affect the target individual. That's how it's supposed to work. And that is what happens. Everyone's ignorant about the specific environment. Everyone's ignorant about the demonic behavior, the demon possession. That's not spoken of. That's why it has to be maintained by someone who's a paranoid schizophrenic. There's nobody following you. Actually, it's a multiplicity of faces, and they're maintaining presence in a demonic environment. It is the work of Satan. It's psychological torture and terrorism. And the entity does so. At this point, you're talking about recognizing what the entity does. They jumped right inside on traffic cameras in the middle of that intersection. And everybody that's on that traffic camera, as I'm reading their license plates, they're going to federal prison. So the entity is engaging in what is a massive ongoing crime against an American citizen, which you're going to be prosecuted for terrorism. I have documented thousands engaging in state surveillance in California. Many, you're talking hundreds, are going to be subject to federal prison. This is, and let me be clear, that's not even getting to what is a substantial, enough of a substantial amount of a percentage regarding the monstrosity of the crime of federal group stalking monitoring. It's every single person everywhere they're going, even in the comfort of their third-party facilitating venues where they live or where they work, they're group stalking you. That is the crime of group stalking, because it's something that is demonic. This is the demonic and this is a demonic pattern of conduct. This is literally what's going on with regard to what Satan is doing amongst the people. The ability to criminalize is perfectly feasible. The ability to prosecute and reach every single crevice of every person, that's not realistic, and it's also not necessary. You can make a substantial dent and extract substantial justice with regard to the prosecution in the ways in which that I have advocated, and the ways in which that I've accomplished, in addition to what the federal government already has as their tools, as their awareness of this stalking system, as this surveillance system. So nonetheless, the entity is surrounded at this intersection with multiple means of identifying what it is that I just captured, some of which is on my podcast. And as I require, which is justice for any targeted individual, where they are acting in concert, where you're looking at the government acting directly and vicariously as one to group stalk somebody, you're talking about both. The state is already handled. There is no police department none of them are escaping what the feds are. They're going to be handled. I'm going to leave it at that. The people of the state, I'm identifying them, I'm naming them, I'm documenting them, because I'm going to prosecute them. Okay? I can't go into every single neighborhood and get every single demon, even though it's all of them. It literally is. But as I encounter many of whom, and there are more ways to get large chunks. For example, the whole hotel, the whole apartment complex of Alvarado Gardens, the intersection at Myrtle and Huntington. This intersection here, they're all group stalking. I was naming just license plates. There are people on surveillance cameras. They are all on traffic cameras. And you're talking about ways in which you can gather a large chunk of what everyone was doing at that same time. I am providing proof of presence and proof of their criminal presence. And you are witnessing demonic activity while you see a demon wearing a sheriff's department uniform. If I surmise correctly, I'm pretty sure that that's the sheriff's department, and they're demon possessed. They're corrupt, and they openly engage in criminal conduct maliciously while wearing their uniforms and badges and present, engaging in what is something that is supposed to appear as though it's within their duty, their function, and they're engaged in surveillance in plain sight. That's revealing what is impunity and malice, and it is worthy of federal prison. All right. It is currently 7:09 p.m. I remain at what is third-party facilitated venue 76 at, again, Baker Street and Fairview Road, and I captured the light source that's over me at the car wash. License plate 6SKX169, and that's where the fake sun remains, where the entity's group stalking in concert with these corrupt law enforcement agencies. Where you'll recall again, the fake sun is over me at a police department off of 18th Street in Orange County. At what point ever is the sun in a position to be seen over the apartment complex or anywhere over LA? While it's over the Costa Mesa Police Department, as I documented today, over me while I am at the Costa Mesa Police Department. That's not possible to be the case when you are looking at what I documented for a prolonged period, living and working at Alvarado Gardens Apartments. And then the fools get on camera, they get on podcast by virtue of being in my presence, and I'm documenting the people of the state. I'm documenting them together, and there are additional and supplemental means of prosecuting what is captured on camera in multiple ways. So I just want to capture that 9DZP991, and let me get this third party, and then this is P.O.C. It's currently 7:10 p.m. License plate 9. Oh, that dude was trying to escape. Let me get license plate 9MSZ648. This is P.O.C. License 9AJX370. It's 7:15 p.m. License 9GRE126, 7EQA103, 8PYJ334, 8MOB787. Group stalking, terrorism via directed light in my car while they're pacing on Fairview Road. License TFL. I can't really see that one. You can scratch that. But this one, 9AJX370, surveillance by sitting in front of me while terrorism engineer light inside of my car, openly engaging in surveillance. This is, again, 98JX370. License 8XAR521. Remember, the people of the state that are pacing all around, this is surveillance as an entity. A demon is engaging in surveillance while they live in relevant position to you, while they are openly engaging in surveillance. While they work in relevant position to you, they're openly engaging in surveillance. While they sit in front of you, or sitting on the side of the road, for example, while you are, say you're sitting in a drive-through, they just park in the parking lot, they're openly engaging in surveillance, group stalking you openly. And they're also doing it openly because they're monitoring your documentation. 98JX370 and a white BMW. It's 7:21 p.m. 1490196, group stalking with OCTA, license 1661506, bus 2251, route 55. At 7:27 p.m., group stalking with the state, 9KSD 868, 9KSD 686, 9JPF 141. Costa Mesa group stalking on traffic cameras at Baker Street and Fairview Road, and the fake sun is still present. I'll go ahead and take a picture of that. It's 7:27 p.m. P.O.C. license 6Z U.S. 858. License 9KH2260. Again, 9KHZ260. P.O.C. Group stalker on traffic, on traffic cameras, but also on surveillance camera at the mini mart, walking in, getting gas, group stalking on the way, doing so. Okay, it is the people of the state's pattern of conduct to engage in the P.O.C. at Fairview Road and Baker Street. It's 7:33 p.m. 21255R2, 9BYK061, DG41Y05, that's a paper plate. And engaging in ongoing surveillance, 9JPF141, license 8PER386, 8ZQL428, 9FKG297, I believe, 9LIS144, 7SKB309. They're all group stalking under a fake sun that's setting at the intersection of Baker and Fairview Road, and not in alignment to my hotel window in Monrovia at room 417, not in alignment to the bedroom window of apartment 1806, apartment number 6 in Los Angeles at Alvarado Gardens. It is remaining here where demons are engaged in amplified audible activity, 8LZ 5N26, and stalking with engineer light, and group stalking with the terrorist organization Costa Mesa PD and the demon-possessed sheriff's department. Group stalking on traffic cameras this evening. C266KO, engaging in public corruption together. It's 7:40 p.m. This is P.O.C. License 5VZA309. 9768 DL3, I believe, 6VEN406, 7H51592. Star Pro Patrol, that's a commercial vehicle, 8TYD094. License 8REC269. And license, this is, again, the documented sunset at Harbor Trinity Church. Okay, that's not a real church at 1230 Baker Street. Those are a bunch of demons under a fake sunset. License 9LJB894, I believe. License, let's see, license 9FFX582. It is 7:44 p.m. 5CLW975. Again, this demon is 5CLW975. It's 7:54 p.m. All right, license 8SYB073, molesting and pacing with 8XGZ338. Those are sex offenders molesting and pacing together. And I'm still at the same 76 at Baker and Fairview where the sunset occurred today, outside of the bounds of nature, pursuant to the pattern of conduct by the state. That's, again, license 8XGZ338. Engaging in surveillance, that's terrorism, stalking, tracking my steps, making sure that I remain surrounded, doing so on behalf of the state. It's 8:02 p.m. All right, molesting 36334U2, 5SDM646, 9NDH547, 9FED330, 9ADU410, 6SENPAT, 6MEA295, 6ALR123, 6MEA295, I think I read that one, 7YDE284, HIBIK13, 7NHK551, 4UNY622, 6TXU882.
Turn left after a quarter of a mile, then turn right immediately.
It is currently 8:04 p.m. P.O.C. License 5UQV202 9KAA 513 5TMR 229. 8NPB 650. 5PML 799. License 9JIC 895 52112A1 8UVY397 7XUJ481 67905N2 16656A3 9HVF194 12947P2. Group stalking with the state on Vanguard. It's 8:14 p.m. POC. License 90412R2. This is GCI. This is a commercial actor. License number 1055551. And that is the California number 0567734. They're using this commercial vehicle, GCISitesServices.com, as a means of light activity and relevant positioning. Emptying furniture at third-party facilitating venues, Starbucks, Healthy Bistro. This is a plaza. They're stalking in the path with light activity. This is a Latino male wearing orange shirts and olive green bottoms and steel-toe boots. They're group stalking using that commercial vehicle. It is currently 8:17 p.m. This is POC. All right, returning back to Best Western, engaged in POC. 8GHH001, 9GBU226. A7424160 68147A3 9NKH514 8RJH909 9KEX981. License 8YEV499. I documented that earlier, I believe. They're still here. 9GPW139. LLEMO7. That's Florida. License 6JTU454. License 8NMT022. License 7032R20. That's paper. And it says 2020 on it. This is a paper license plate on a white E-Class Mercedes. License 7XTP172. License 166J46. That looks like, yeah, that's Nevada. License 5XAD901. License 08464T3. License CG14G45, which is paper. These are the people of the state that are currently group stalking in relevant position at the facilitating venue that is Best Western, where the light source is captured. This is criminal surveillance. This is the illegitimate engagement and criminal conduct with the state of California, while the operation of a business establishment is operating for the criminal purpose of the state, which is readily identifiable in the specific environment, and what I captured on video showing the light source over me at the same entrance. And also as I even walk to the back, that fake sun remains over me as I go to the back. Again, noting that light source over me at 10:35 in the morning. As I walk out at 4 p.m., it's still over me at the same entrance. Group stalking license 8RW, BRU 7848. And this is a Washington plate. They are going to be on the records with regard to the criminal conduct of Best Western, and they're going to be treated just like the people of the state, as you witnessed at Monrovia Town Place Suites by Marriott, as the people of the state at Alvarado Gardens, living at a crime scene, facilitating systematic engagement in the P.O.C. These are means of going to federal prison. 8LDS 837, license 8B32417, license 848250Z1. And this demon with BRU 7848, they literally came out into the parking lot just to move their vehicle around because I went down to the parking garage. So these demons are up here creating activity in relevant position. These are Asian American. Well, they're Asian. I don't know if they're Asian Americans per se, but if they're not natural born citizens, they're going to be deported after they're prosecuted for terrorism in the state of California. DJ15B53 paper 7GA5881. That's a Maryland plate. ATS 105A. That's I think that's the same Tijuana. I think I documented them earlier. License 8KWE847. License, this is Idaho, FLO6127. Stalking with light activity using the vehicle. License 9LST376. Group stalking, engaging in surveillance in the parking lot. As I arrive by their vehicle, they stop and use the vehicle as lights. By stop, I mean stepping on your brakes, using your alarm. They were stalking in the path with light activity, waiting for me to get near their vehicle to do so. That's a demon, and you're stalking in a parking lot. License plate 8JTG862, license 9LTW438. I documented them earlier. They're still here, engaged in criminal conduct. Best Western, group stalking on cameras, going into the pool area. That's an employee facilitating on a systematic basis. AIL L63, that's a Colorado plate. 8DKB125 is still here, engaged in the P.O.C. This is arriving back at a third-party facilitating venue, Best Western, in Costa Mesa. Again, where the fake sun is over me, as I documented this morning. The duration of time is that capturing where the crime scene is underway as a state and practices federal group stalking and monitoring and in relevant position. The Costa Mesa Police Department is right now engaging in federal group stalking and monitoring while they're maintaining presence physically at the Orange County Fair, which is feet away from my location, and also where the fake sun remained over me as I went toward the Orange County Fair and the demon-possessed Costa Mesa Police Department, practicing federal group stalking and monitoring in Orange County, California, where there is no natural environment that includes a sun over the Orange County Fair at the time that it's directly over me while I'm at that location, which I captured on video today. It is in conformity to the P.O.C. You're witnessing public corruption as the government acts with the people of the state, a population who share a condition, and it is demon possession, and the demonic environment is captured through the windshield of my vehicle that is in Orange County, or at the Orange County Fair, and the fake sun moves as I leave. Let me see, that was 6 hours after capturing it this morning at the same location, which is the Best Western. That is literally the phenomenon. That is literally the scientific impossibility. Well, the scientific impossibility remains over me as I show you all the demons who are stalkers, and it includes the Costa Mesa Police Department and every demon-possessed group stalker in Orange County, many of whom I documented on video and on podcast today, acting with a demon-possessed and corrupt agency. That is the Orange County Sheriff's Department, and they're on traffic cameras again at Fairview and Baker Street, engaging in the criminal pattern of conduct with the people of the state, which psychopaths, demon-possessed group stalkers, the public safety concern who embody the state of California that's practicing federal group stalking and monitoring. Their mental illness is made manifest as they cannot resist. This is speaking to obsession, while they directly come and participate in the pattern of conduct where I'm literally documenting for purposes of prosecution, and the state comes to participate in that. And that's all you're doing under the fake sun and an engineered light. And it is a well-documented POC. It's currently 8:24 p.m. This is POC at Best Western. And again, they're just to document the address at Best Western. It is 2642 Newport Boulevard in Costa Mesa, California. 92627. Again, it's 8:24 p.m. This is POC. Amplified audible activity while this demon, third party, 9LTW438 with impunity and malice. This is an obsessed psychopath that will not relent from remaining in relevant position on behalf of the state, that is stalking in planes while the demon stalks in the parking lot with their vehicle lights on. That's POC. 9LTW438 that I just captured on video. Captured images at approximately 8:28, capturing video at 9:32, capturing podcast at 8:36 p.m. where they're maintaining obsessive presence. They're not going anywhere until I get out the car. And the way that the demons operate, if they want, this third party will will drive off or get out the car, whatever, only to be replaced by another demon. That's how the entity is maintaining obsessive placement in the path with the activity creation on behalf of the demons that are pacing in planes, which again, John Wayne Airport is going to be subject to prosecution. Okay, and TSA is at the airport. There are many aspects when you're prosecuting for state terrorism and the entities using commercial airline planes. You're talking about every brand of planes are engaged in state surveillance at that state facilitating venue and airport, where demons are getting in planes, commercial planes, and just pacing around in order to group stalk with the demons that are group stalking at Best Western, where the fake sun remains over as a matter of documentation between 10:35 and 4:15 p.m. That's not the sun. This is P.O.C. And the demon stays in the parking lot. The demons stay flying over the parking lot, acting together. That's what I wanted to capture. It's amplified plane activity. It is indeed P.O.C. It is 8:37 p.m.